Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for spending some time to listen to what I've got to say about our journey with transforming our business, helping transform our business with digital experience. At Haleon, we've been on a journey to get DEX to be recognized as a vital business metric. Now, that's a significant challenge when you consider the various different metrics that business have from a competing perspective. But we're on that journey. We haven't reached that final point that we want to get to. But we know that we're making progress. I'm going to talk to you today about how that progress has been going, where we've got to, and the success that we've had to date. Haleon. We, as you saw from the video, just a bit of audience participation, I think, late in the afternoon. Who has heard of Haleon before what you saw in that video? Hands up. OK, so that's probably about 10% of the room, maybe. So we operate in 5 different areas as a consumer health organization: in pain relief, oral health, respiratory, vitamin, minerals, and supplements, and digestive health, and other. You may not have heard of Haleon, but who's seen these brands? A lot more people, and that's not surprising, because we're more famous for our brands than we are our own corporate name. We came out of a demerger from GSK a couple of years ago, and we're a dedicated consumer health organization. Everybody in Haleon has a favorite brand. My favorite brand is Voltaren, because these knees are not what they used to be 15 years ago. A bit about me as an introduction: Kasim Ali. I've been with Haleon now for 3 years. I joined just before we separated from GSK, and I've been on the stabilization journey. And now we're in the space about thinking about what does the future look like for us? What type of organization do we want for our people? Prior to that, I worked in the pharma industry for 4.5 years. And before that, I did a 12-year stint in retail. So being back in CPG is a crossover between both pharma and retail. And it's been a great place so far. On the back of that video, one of the campaigns that our organization ran specifically was around listening to pain. And this line here I've taken out from that campaign. The campaign was all about going out to customers, listening to them, understanding where their pain points are, and then helping that shape the decisions that the organization makes through prioritization of our product enhancements and which markets we're delivering which products to. We've taken that exact same concept and applied that into that digital space. Because for us, that's no different to what DEX is about. DEX is about managing pain. It's not physical pain, but digital pain. Knowing where that is, understanding it and improving it. Pain is friction, and we want to be in a place where we are removing as much friction as possible so that we can keep that flow going continually. And you will have heard that term flow in previous presentations today as well. That is completely by chance and not planned at all. Understanding how we work as humans is intrinsic to our success. In the same way, understanding how we work as humans from a digital point of view is intrinsic to an organization's success as well. DEX for us is not a piece of software. It is not an application. It is not a product. It is all of those coming together as an outcome. And we want to manage that outcome because we know that the best digital employee experience makes you feel like you're in the flow of work. Flow is a term that we have adopted really from the manufacturing world, from the lean world, where it's all about how do you remove the number of invariabilities that you have so that you can have a consistent performance. And we want to apply that into our space as well. We believe DEX is made up of 3 different dimensions. Again, that may look like a diagram that you saw earlier in the day. That's completely by chance as well, but it shows how in sync we are in terms of how we're thinking and approaching DEX. It's about the human interaction. It's about the environment that you're in, but then it's also about the digital experience. And with that coming together is where the flow takes place. Why is flow important for us? Because we believe when you're in the flow, great things happen. Great conversations are allowed to take place. Great interactions happen. Great relationships are built. And then the great outcomes can be consistently delivered. That is the outcome that we're all aiming for. And that is how we wrap around our DEX methodology and how we approach the importance of this work. People are the most important assets of any organization. If you take care of the people, the work will take care of itself. People are the business. You build people, not a business. The people will take care of that business and move it forward. So, isn't it imperative on us that we make sure we do everything that we can to manage that experience for those people so that they can be the best that they can be? But in order to do that, you need to measure it. And measurement is the first step that leads to that improvement. Once you're measuring it, you understand what baseline you've got. You can work out what you want to improve. You can also make decisions on what you're not going to improve, because you cannot and you will not improve everything all at the same time. Making those decisions are imperative in working out how successful or not that you're going to be, how quickly this is going to be adopted, how well this is going to be understood across various elements of the organization. If you can't understand it, you cannot control it. So measure it, understand it, work with your business units in terms of what you're going to improve, find out which business units are willing to partner with you, and that's where the success will come. How do DEX and the business success come together? We've already said, it's been said many times on this stage today, people are our most important asset. So how do we make sure that we provide an environment that people thrive in? We believe that there's a big correlation between a high DEX score and digital competency being uplifted in the organization. It is the thread that continues through all the different parts of the experience of the organization. Organizations make a huge investment in digital capability, and it's upon us to extract every bit of value from it. So DEX is intrinsic to the digital capability that exists in an organization. Organizations all over the world talk about the differentiator between us and our competitors is our adoption of digital capability and how well that is understood throughout the whole organization. In order for that to be fulfilled, having a stable, performing DEX strategy is fundamental to that, so that you can guarantee that that is the springboard from which the organization can find its successes. But there's so many different metrics that an organization has to look at. Whether it's a marketing lead, a sales lead, a technology lead, they've all got so many different metrics. And when you've tried to convince your business stakeholders that IT or technology metrics are important, then you usually get a blank face. Anybody who's tried to convince their business leaders availability as a metric was important has had that conversation. Anybody that talks about mean time to resolution, SLAs, those are all metrics that can be wrapped up in an overall outcome called DEX. So DEX becomes not just a metric, but it becomes an outcome that you want your business leaders to be invested in. You want your tech leaders to be invested in. Tech has never been anything more than about influencing and leading the change for the business. Because that's what we're employed to do. The organizations looks at us as digital leaders, as technology leaders, to work out where the organization needs to move forward. So that influencing is something that I'm sure we're all very, very used to, and it's not going to change. So get behind your own DEX journey, understand where that value is going to come from, cement that at the foundational level, and sell that metric to the business. Make them understand why it's important. And once you start sharing it with certain parts of the business, other parts of the organization will undoubtedly also have their interest piqued, and they will want to see that as well. And we've had first-hand experience of that. Once we've started sharing what the DEX score looks like for a particular business unit or a particular market, then another market or business unit has also then asked for, well, we would like to understand this data for ourselves as well. So you get that natural organic competition that exists in all organizations. But it's upon you to understand and work out how you keep that relevant. So some key takeaways from this, because it's a journey that we all need to go on. It's a journey that we've been on before we separated as Haleon, when we were part of GSK, and it's the continuation of that journey since then as well. Define what DEX means for yourself. It will mean different things for different organizations depending on their industry, their maturity, their level of digital competency, all of those things. You need to define that for yourselves. And we found ourselves spending quite a bit of time working that out and defining what does DEX mean. And that definition at the start that I used around DEX for us is not a tool or an app or a piece of hardware or a specific piece of technology. It is an approach that we are taking, that we are going to share and publish as much as we can to drive the conversation. You define that baseline, you work out those targets, and you continually review. You need to commit to embedding the value realization. If you allow DEX to be forgotten about, then no one else is going to bring it up. You need to be the ones that are championing this across your digital and tech organization and making sure that it stays relevant, it stays front of mind, so you're measuring it and communicating at every opportunity. Organizations communicate engagement surveys, employee engagement surveys, satisfaction surveys all the time. We do it twice yearly. We talk about the engagement score of individuals. We should also be talking about DEX, and we are certainly influencing that conversation with our people leadership in the organization, and then explaining to them where DEX fits into that overall picture and why it's important. Be driven by the data. Work out which parts of the organization are likely to partner with you. Maybe the data set will be the point that leads them to that conversation. Maybe they're not drawn to DEX initially, but once you have data to show individuals, then they're more likely to respond to that and work out how they improve. And lastly, tying this back to the approach that the organization took in terms of pain management, listen to the pain. The DEX score is not the only thing that gives you the information. You've got sentiment analysis. You've got to go and talk to people. You've got to listen to what people are telling you to work out what are the priorities that you should be going after, and then act decisively. And that might mean saying no to certain improvements for certain business units and explaining why that is, but then really delivering and honoring your commitment for delivery for the ones that you are prioritizing. That's our DEX journey today. Thank you very much for listening to me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.